open just for us to have a short interactive session. Of those who are in the meeting now, how many of you already know something about Bitcoin? Hey?
Only a little bit, Maggie, not much.
Not much.
I've read up about Bitcoin and how the blockchain works.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's just the technical side of how the blockchain works.
Oh, okay. So is it a good assumption then that we're all here to understand how it works and how to make money out of it, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So I really appreciate you guys joining in. I appreciate your time. I know it's time with family, and I intend to make it worth your while. So as I said, I'm going to mute it's quiet now, so I won't mute anyone. But if it does get loud, I will mute everybody, and then you can unmute yourself as you want to speak. So
okay.
Let me just silence that, and then I'll go through the presentation. Okay. So the reason we're here is to understand Bitcoin and how it works. There's 3 questions that I'm actually going to be addressing and answer for you. Okay. The first question that I'm going to be answering is, what is Bitcoin? I'm not going to go into the technical details, but it will be very high level, just you get an understanding of what we're looking at. I do have sessions and videos that I can share that will tell you more about what Bitcoin really is on the technical side. With the hour that we have, we don't have enough time to get into such detail. Then we'll answer, why should you be accumulating Bitcoin? Why should you care about accumulating Bitcoin? And how do you actually accumulate Bitcoin? Those are the 3 quick questions that I'm going to be answering today. So just to share a bit about myself and my journey in the cryptocurrency space, I got involved with Bitcoin in 2017. When it was introduced to me, the value at that time was about 67,000 rands. I didn't really understand what it was, but when the lady was talking to me about it, all I could see that she had made a lot of money out of it. I didn't ask questions. I bought some Bitcoin through an app called Luno. And I started reading up about it then. I only started understanding what it was after I had started investing in it, but not with a lot of money though. But on investigating, and I heard people saying, with looking at the predictions for the coin, that it will be worth about $1 million. And I thought, that is it. That is what I need to move me into an instant millionaire. That's when I decided I'm going to do this. So at that time, my plan was just to own 1 Bitcoin and keep it for 5 years. And in 5 years, I'll be a millionaire. So I started accumulating Bitcoin. So I started in October. And the value of Bitcoin kept going up. I started with buying just Bitcoin for 1,000 rands. And by the end of the weekend, it had gained 10%. So I started putting more and more into it with the aim of getting 1 Bitcoin. At the end of November, I already had a full Bitcoin. And I'd spent about 98,000 rands to get that. So now I was already, my plan was going to happen. Now I'm going to keep this Bitcoin for a year, for 5 years, and to be $1 million, and I'll be a millionaire. And guess what? A few days later, the value of Bitcoin went up to 200,000 rands. And I couldn't resist. So I said, no, I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to take out. My idea was, I'm going to take out what I've invested. And I remember saying to myself that I'm going to gamble with the profit, because I did not understand it. I was calling it gambling because everyone was talking about it's a bubble, it's going to do this, and I didn't understand it. But the minute I sold it, so when I cashed out, I essentially sold half a Bitcoin and I was left with half a Bitcoin. The value went up drastically. It went to about 300,000 South African rands. Then my dream now of owning a Bitcoin started creeping up again to say, now, how are you going to keep this up? So I started wanting to accumulate more Bitcoin to get to that, because I was seeing the reality of it actually being $1 million, and I needed to have that 1 Bitcoin by then. So as I was struggling now, because the value was high, trying to build it up again to a full Bitcoin, the same friend of mine, Matapelo, she's actually part of our mining group as well, said to me, there is something called Bitcoin mining through BitLab network. And I said, how does it work? She explained, and I said, that's it. This is what's going to get me out of, I'm a mom of 4. I struggle with managing my time. I would love to be a stay-at-home mom who can actually afford what she wants to afford, but I can't do that. For the first time, I was listening to a presentation by Dimakazo, because she had invited Dimakazo to come and present to us. And she was telling us about how she had moved from corporate within 2 years, and she was debt-free, and she was buying property cash. And I thought, this is it. This is what I need. So that's what got me into Bitcoin mining through BitLab Network. That is my journey with Bitcoin. So now that you know where I come from, I just want to share my experience as well, give a bit of education so that you can also make an informed decision. Wayne Dyer, who's a motivational speaker, says the highest form of ignorance is when you reject something you don't know anything about. And people are tending to ignore and reject Bitcoin because of what they've been hearing. I mean, at the time when I invested, they were saying it is a boom, your money is going to go. And people are rejecting it because they've been scammed. But they've been scammed because they never got to understand what they're actually putting their money into. So I'm glad that you guys are here sitting in this, because that says to me you have not rejected it, you want to know about it, and you can make an informed decision. So now I'm just going to share a few interesting facts about Bitcoin. I'm not going to go into the technology and the technicality behind it. If you need that, we can have a separate session where I can take you through that as well. So Bitcoin, it's just money. It's digital money. It is based on blockchain technology, as you have investigated, Nicole, and understand how it works. Blockchain technology is the backbone of it. It's what makes it exist. And it was created in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto. It is divisible by 8. The smallest unit of it is called a Satoshi, which is something that I did not know as well, which also delayed me getting into Bitcoin, because I always thought you could only buy a full Bitcoin. So when I see the value of Bitcoin is 125,000 rands, I'm thinking, I can't afford this. But you can actually own parts of a Bitcoin called Satoshis.
Okay.
There is a limit to the number of Bitcoin you can that is ever going to exist. That is 21 million. And the last one is going to be mined in the year 2140. There is a significance in this being limited, because if it did not have a limit, it would not be gaining value. You'll see what I mean by that. So, yeah, they limit the supply so that when the demand goes up, the value goes up as well.
Yeah.
Another thing that would be interesting to look at is how do you compare Bitcoin and money as we know it? Our money as we know it is called fiat currency. And and cryptocurrency is digital money, Bitcoin being the first one that was ever created. There are thousands of them now. The main ones, the popular ones would be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Ethereum, Monero. There's quite a few of them. There's a website called coinmarketcap.com. If you go to that website, you will see a whole lot of cryptocurrencies, their value and how they are faring and where they are in terms of that market cap. Bitcoin is number 1. So Bitcoin is decentralized as opposed to our money being centralized. What does that mean? Our money is owned by a government. The South African Reserve Bank controls the South African rand. Okay, every country will have their own reserve bank governing the money. Bitcoin is not owned by anybody. It is a peer-to-peer currency, which means you and I can be part of the controlling bodies by mining Bitcoin and owning mining machines. So it is decentralized in that way. It is not owned by one particular entity, but it's about how we as peers, without involving the bank, are putting value in the currency. Okay. And it's generated by computers. It makes sense because it is digital and it's generated through a process called mining. Unlike gold, where you go underground and mine, Bitcoin is mined through computers on the blockchain. That's how it's created. I've got another video that will tell you all about how mining works. If you need that, I can share with you. You can just indicate or speak to whoever invited you, and I will share it with them and they can share it with you. Okay. Our money as we know it is issued by government, it's minted, and that's how we get it. Bitcoin, I've already said, is limited in supply. Fiat currency is unlimited. Governments can print as they wish, and we know what happens when they print money, because money, we've got faith in money. But what we don't realize is that there is also nothing backing the money. People like saying, but what is backing Bitcoin? What is backing the rand? There is nothing. It's no longer backed by gold. If you want to see how that works, if you look at what happened in Zimbabwe, they were printing money. Inflation went out of the roof and the currency was devalued to nothing. So even the people who had money invested, their pensions were invested, they had millions of rands. Just like that, when their currency was devalued, they had nothing. This is what is making cryptocurrency attractive, because it is not impacted by the politics of any government, and it is a global currency. Okay, it is deflationary, it does not devalue, whereas our money, as we have seen in multiple countries, are affected by inflation and they are devalued. This next slide explains to you more about the inflation. It illustrates what inflation does to money, how it devalues our currency. What you could get for 300 rands in 1998, look at that trolley compared to what you can get in a trolley for 300 rands today. You can't even fill a basket, I'm sure. Bitcoin. Bitcoin, what you're saying is deflationary. The value of Bitcoin is going up over time. I'm going to show you a next slide that shows you how it is going up over time. Okay, so with that having been said, what you could buy for Bitcoin in 2012 compared to what you'll be able to buy in a couple of years' time shows you that it is something worth considering, why you should be accumulating Bitcoin. Whatever you put in today and look into the future of what it is going to be, it is a case into why we should be accumulating Bitcoin. Okay, let's look at the value of Bitcoin over time as building up the case as to why we need to be accumulating Bitcoin. 2009, when it was created, it had no value. It only has value once you start trading in it, right? 2010, it was 7 cents. This is when the first Bitcoin transaction happened. Someone bought 2 peters for 10,000 Bitcoin. 2 peters, that's what, for 10,000 Bitcoin. Today, 1 Bitcoin is about 125,000 rands. So look at the value from 2010, when it could only buy 2 peters. If the value of Bitcoin today, let me just quickly do the math, is 125,000 rands, and you had 10,000 Bitcoin, which were used to buy those 2 peters, multiplied by 125,000. It's 1.2 million in 10 years. This is a case as to why we are accumulating Bitcoin. Fast forward to 2014, it was about 4,000 rands. 2017, about 10,000 rands. End of 2018, we're sitting at 47,000 rands. Now in May, 135,000. And remember when I was telling you, I was introducing myself, I did say that at some point it hit 300,000 rands. It's a currency, it fluctuates, it goes up and down. Once you understand Bitcoin and how it works, you do not get rattled. You do not start panicking when the value goes down. You see an opportunity to accumulate when it is less. You need to get that into you, that Bitcoin is here to stay. You know, Bitcoin is doing what email did to the post office. It is digitalizing money, taking it out of what we know as plastic cards, what we had as notes, what we had as exchanging gold. The next evolution of money is Bitcoin. So it is not going anywhere. If you rest assured in that, when you see the value going down, that is your chance to make money out of Bitcoin. Buy, 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 if you are using the strategy of buying and holding. Okay, so now you've seen, I was trying to build a case as to why you should consider accumulating Bitcoin if you want to be creating money out of Bitcoin. I hope. Did you hear that? Just on
No.
that. Didn't you hear it?
No.
Oh,
No, it didn't.
Should I try again?
Please, yeah.
Let me see if I can. Can you hear it?
No, nothing.
Is it? Okay, I'm going to repeat. It says Bitcoin predictions. It's actually what I've got there on the right-hand side. That says the Bitcoin price experts believe it's going to be 100,000 in 2020. That's what the clip is actually saying. That on its own should be motivation enough. These predictions, as you see them there, should be motivation enough for you if you are wanting to make money to start investing in Bitcoin. Start accumulating Bitcoin. There's various ways to accumulate. You need to look into all of them and maximize what you can out of all of them. Okay. So how do you actually accumulate Bitcoin? Firstly, there you can mine Bitcoin. Okay. You can do what is called buy, hold, and sell. So which is what I started doing. You buy Bitcoin at a particular price, you hold it and sell it once it's made profit. People will say, oh, I lost money in Bitcoin. If they're doing buy, hold, and sell, if you sell when the value of Bitcoin has dropped, it's because you were panicking, you did not believe in the currency, and you sold at a loss. Do not sell at a loss. If you sell when it is lower than when you bought it at, yes, you have lost money. If it is lower than what you have bought at, stay put, trust it, it's gonna go up and you will make your money back. So that's the strategy of buying, holding, and selling. Alternatively, you can accept Bitcoin as a form of payment if you're running a business. I'm going to show you, I hope you can hear this one. This is a clip of Pick n Pay when they were piloting accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment. This is what we're going to be seeing in the future. There will be no store that does not accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. This is what it was going to look like for Pick n Pay. Sorry, can you hear that one?
No.
No, man, how do I? Why can't you hear my
Clips?
Okay, I'm gonna have to share it with the people that invited you, then you can watch the clips. But this clip is basic, but can you see the audio in the video?
Yeah,
So
we can, yeah.
So basically, is someone wanting to pay with Bitcoin at Pick n Pay. So what they do is, when they get to the till, they would present their phone where they've got their Bitcoin wallet on a Luno wallet, on Luno, and then Pick n Pay at the point of sale, they've got an option that says pay with Bitcoin. So they would click on there, and then you present your phone, and then it will scan it, and then that's it. So they scan it. So now he's saying, I'm going to pay using Bitcoin. They open their Luno, and they scan that. And then, depending on the amount of the plan, there you have transacted using Bitcoin. That is what we are going to be seeing more and more in the near future. And the beauty of Bitcoin, the more people take it up, the more activity there will be in the network, the more the mining works and the more the mining becomes profitable, which is also what is motivating us to be empowering people by teaching them about Bitcoin and the values of investing in it. Because the more it is taken up, the higher the demand, the higher the value is going to be. Let me just go to the next slide. This is what a Bitcoin mining machine looks like. So if you wanted to go into Bitcoin mining, firstly, you would need to buy this machine, connect it to the blockchain network. So the blockchain network will have a whole lot of computers from each one of us who have bought the machines. And then what happens is we mine Bitcoin by competing with each other to solve calculations. And the computer that solves a particular problem is the one that earns Bitcoin. And that's in essence is what Bitcoin mining is. So you'll need this machine. It will need to be connected to the network 24/7. You know, when you run machines, they heat up. So you need to have a cooling system as well. Apparently, they're also quite loud. But people actually, when it started in 2009, used to own these machines. They would keep them in their houses and they would mine Bitcoin and they made money out of it. But if you look at this now, what is the cost of mining Bitcoin? It will cost you the machine, any upgrades that are required, keeping it connected, electricity and cooling it and all that. So currently it will cost you about 81,000 rands a month to run a mini mining operation for you. So I don't know how many of us have got that to spend in mining Bitcoin.
Sure.
There are guys who are watching Bitcoin mining and its profitability and the break-even points, and they predict the value of Bitcoin based on the break-even of the mining, based on the difficulty of the mining in a particular time. So they're saying that mining, currently Bitcoin mining is concentrated in large-scale operations, smaller miners, those who had bought their own machine and kept it in their own homes. It's no longer profitable for them. They're running at a loss. So they need to join mining pools to stay competitive. So, and these guys, based on the mining and the break-even points on the mining, they're predicting that by the end of this year, the value of Bitcoin will be 520,000. Then that is their prediction. You can be moved by that as a case for you to accumulate Bitcoin. But now, if you want to do it through mining, the question is, how would you do it? And we actually advocate that you do it through mining because it is continuous as opposed to buying and holding. Because once you buy Bitcoin, like I did, and you sell it, it's gone. I had a full Bitcoin, I sold half a Bitcoin, it's gone. If I go and I sell another half, it will go. But with mining, you keep replenishing. So it doesn't repeat it. So which is why I would advocate you going for Bitcoin mining. But for me, what works is a hybrid. When the value of Bitcoin goes down, buy some Bitcoin and hold it whilst you are running your mining. And there's other ways to accumulate, which you will see how we do it through BitLab Network as well. Okay. So given that mining has become expensive, that it is recommended that you go through mining pools, your next question would be, now how do I mine through mining pools? The one that we are talking about today is called BitLab Network. BitLab Network is a company that was established in 2014. Its main operation is mining Bitcoin. This company was established to mine Bitcoin, which means that their operation is owning huge data centers with millions of US dollars worth of mining machines. Bitcoin mining is expensive, okay? So if anybody says to you, we are mining Bitcoin, you need to make sure that they can be verified on the blockchain. If you go to that website, blockchaininfo.pools, I'm just gonna go in there and see if I can share that with you. I'm not sure how to share another one. Are you able to see, which screen are you seeing now?
The one where you're saying established in 2014, October 2014.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna stop that one and I'm gonna share another one. I want to share this one. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So if you go to that link that I've got there that says blockchains.info, this is where you go and verify if the company is really mining Bitcoin, because people worry about legitimacy of companies that are saying they're mining Bitcoin. If you look at that, you will see if a company is mining. As you can see, there's BitLab Network there. If you had looked at this wheel, which changes every 24 to 48 hours, it shows how much a company has mined in that period. If you had looked at this wheel last year this time, we had about 21 companies that were mining Bitcoin. If you look at it now, there's 13, because it has, the difficulty in mining Bitcoin has increased, yet BitLab Network is still going. If you go into BitLab Network, you will actually go in and see how they have been doing on a daily basis. So every block that they mine, every 10 minutes, 12.5 Bitcoin is mined in a block. So if I go back, you will see here that BitLab Network, in the last 24 hours, they mined 9 blocks. In each block, they would have 12 Bitcoin. Let me just go into one of them. You can go in here anytime and see how they're doing. You see the block reward is 12.5, which means on their mining pool, when they managed Bitcoin, the BitLab network machines were working, they managed to solve that equation, and they got rewarded with 12.5 Bitcoin. And that's so now if we look back to here, where it says that they have mined 9 Bitcoin, you can do the math. It will be 9 multiplied by 12.5 multiplied by 125. I think it came to about 12 million rands or something like that, that they have actually mined today. Okay, so let me just stop this share and take you back to the presentation. Okay. So if any company says to you, I'm just trying to show you more about BitLab Network to understand where they're at and what they're doing. If anyone says they're mining Bitcoin, please verify them on the blockchain so that you don't get scammed. Okay?
Okay.
Let me just move this. I'm gonna hide this. Okay. Now, BitLab Network, we said that Bitcoin mining is expensive. So how do they raise their funds? They use what is called crowdfunding. So they are selling mining shares. So, you know, when MTN needs to raise money, they are likely to go and, like they did, they would list on the stock exchange and they would sell the shares to the public, raise money, work on whatever big project they wanted to work on. They want to go into Nigeria, then they could go into Nigeria, whatever it is that they wanted to do, right? And what would happen, you as an investor who has bought the shares, they would give you dividends, whatever they decide, whether it is quarterly or twice a year or once a year, they will be giving you dividends. So what BitLab Network does is also it's selling mining shares. So they use crowdfunding. That money that they get from us when you buy the mining shares, they use to expand their business, to run the operation. They buy the machines, they pay their rent, they pay the electricity, they upgrade, they do everything that is needed to run a mining operation. And because they are doing it at a large scale, they are surviving better than me and you if we were to buy a machine in our own house. So now what they're doing is they are using crowdfunding to raise funds. And now the next question would be, how do they get investors? They get investors by getting their own investors to refer people. Using what? Referral, direct marketing, network marketing. So what they've said is that we are not going to pay marketing companies to market and grow our investment pool, but our own people who have invested in this business, we will give them an opportunity to make more money by referring other people to be investors. And these opportunities that BitLab Network is using, which is the dividends that they will give you when you invest in mining, and the referral bonuses are what we are using to accumulate Bitcoin. So you are investing in Bitcoin mining, not on your own, but with a group of people through BitLab Network. And instead of getting dividends quarterly, whatever, you get them daily. Whatever they make, as we have seen in blockchain.info, whatever they make on a daily basis, they will share with their investors based on the investment amount you have put in. So you get daily Bitcoin. They pay to you in what? In Bitcoin. So you get an opportunity to actually make a little bit of Bitcoin every day. Remember I said you can own Satoshis of a Bitcoin. So you make your Satoshis every day. If you were to go on your own, the reason those other which were big also mining companies closed down, it's because days would go without them making Bitcoin. So it was not profitable for them. So now you are going to pay this once-off investment and invest with a group of people and get fractions of a Bitcoin every day. It may be a small fraction, but based on the value of Bitcoin going up, whatever you are accumulating on a daily basis is going to add up, and coupled with the value of Bitcoin going up, that is how you are going to make your returns. Secondly, BitLab Network, with this thing of saying we are not going to pay marketing companies, but our investors can refer other investors, and we're going to pay them for that in Bitcoin. There is your other opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin without spending more money. So now we're going to look at how BitLab Network offers you this. There are mining pools. They've got 3 mining pools and what they also call a founder pool. So before you go into the mining pools, before you can start mining with them, you need to pay a lifetime membership of $99. So based on the value of the dollar at the time, it could be about 1,500 rands. Lifetime membership also indicates that you can be in this mining for a lifetime. That once-off investment. Remember, I said Bitcoin is going to be in existence forever, but the last one to be mined, the mining itself, is going to happen until the year 2140. So which means that in that time, your generations to come, based on how you structured your investment in BitLab Network, will still be earning from the mining pools. Okay, so when I'm talking about how you structure your mining pool, you will see what will make a difference to make it actually last for a lifetime. So first, and then after you've paid your $99, then you can start buying mining shares. You've got various options. The most expensive option is the founder pool. That is about $3.5 US, and it gets you 1,000 days of mining. And it gets you one share into all the 3 pools that they have. They actually have 3 Bitcoin mining pools. So if you pay $3,500, we say you've got a founder pool, and which means you own a share into 3 of these pools. And when you've got a founder pool, BitLab Network, they are a growing business. They're investing in a whole lot of things cryptocurrency related. And when they do invest, like now they've started a trading platform as well. Whenever they start something new and they run special offers, they would offer that to people who've got founder pools. So it's your advantage if you have a founder pool. The first advantage is that you get more dividends, but then you also get any other bonuses and special offers. One of the bonuses that we had, now I'm not sure if it's still active though, is that when I bought my founder pool, I got 2,000 CoinPay shares. CoinPay is going to be a cryptocurrency payment system. Once it's active, I'm already a shareholder with 2,000 shares. So I think it could still be active now when you get a founder pool. So it's only offered to people with founder pools. Okay, so they've got something called Pool 3, which is $2,000 US. All the pools get you 1,000 days of mining. I'm going to explain to you now briefly now how it gets to a lifetime membership, and whoever has invited you here will elaborate further for you. Okay, so you signing up a contract for 1,000 mining days. However, I spoke about depending on how you structure your investment, you could have a lifetime membership. You've got an option of when the dividends are paid out to you on a daily basis. You can choose to reinvest some of them, which also helps with BitLab Network running their business. Or you can say, I want 100% of the dividends paid into my Bitcoin wallet, which means that you can withdraw it into your South African rands if you wanted to, or leave it as Bitcoin until the value goes up. So you can say, if you say, I want 100% to go into my Bitcoin wallet, you have the power and the ability to do that because you are going to be given a system that allows you to control that. If you say, I want to do 70% or 50%, you can structure it however you wish. If you split it and you say 70% must go into my wallet, whatever you've done on it, is due to you as a dividend on a daily basis. 70% will go into your wallet, and the rest will be reinvested and kept for you to buy additional mining shares for you. So if you are repurchasing, you get additional shares. So at the end of the 1,000 days, when the first share that you bought expires, you would have multiple shares running concurrently because you have been repurchasing. And all the information on how the repurchase work is available for you when you get your system, which you call the back office, that will allow you to read up more on how it works and how you want to structure your investment. So if you structure it, which is advised with the repurchase option, it means that your mining never ends. You can be using your Bitcoin, but knowing that you are going to be accumulating more. So all the pools operate in the same manner. The only difference is how much each pool is worth. Okay, so pool 2 is 1,000 rands, and the last pool, 1,000 US dollars. The last pool is $500 US. So obviously, someone who's bought a founder pool will get 7 times daily dividends as someone who got pool 1. Pool 3 would get 4 times the pool 1 person, and pool 2 will get twice the pool 1 person. So you can invest based on your affordability or your risk appetite or whatever it is that drives you to put in the investment. But founder pool will get you better returns over time as compared to someone with pool one. However, this is now looking at the first option of being an investor. You can do that. And remember, being an investor means that I've bought something, I'm leaving it in there. It's a 3 to 5 year investment. So that's it. You have invested, right? If you take 10,000 rands, for example, if I look at pool one, including the lifetime membership, let's just round it off and say I've put in 10,000 rands into Bitcoin mining. This 10,000 rands, I'll find that maybe after 3 years or 5 years, it's worth 50,000 rands. Does it make it a good investment? It certainly does. Because if you take 10,000 rands now and put it in a money market account, they're paying 1% per annum. In 5 years, you'll probably have 10,500 rands. So if you take that as opposed to buying a mining pool, it is a better investment, isn't it? When we're looking at the predictions of where Bitcoin is going. But now, we are not here to hear about Bitcoin to be making 50,000 rands in 5 years' time. We here, well, I know that I am here because I want financial freedom. I'm here because in 5 years' time, I need to be a millionaire, which is what the next part that Bitcoin does, BitLab Network does, is helping us with. So when I'm saying make a business of it, I'm saying accumulate Bitcoin without buying it, because BitLab Network affords you to do that. It allows you to do that. So when you start a business, what do? You need capital, right? Okay, so now let's look at what BitLab Network says. You need capital, okay? Your investment that you have put into mining is your capital to start this business. You don't need to pay anything more. So that's covered, isn't it? So you've spent what, 55,000 rands or 10,000 rands, whatever you have put in, that is your capital, done. Once off. Have you started a business where you put money in, even if the business fails, your money is still there? I started a business. I took my pension money, resigned from somewhere, took my pension money. The business failed, my pension money is gone. So when you do business, when you're making a business of it through BitLab Network, your investment that is going to pay you out in 3 to 5 years is still intact. That's the beauty of it, right? Do you need to quit your job? One thing that Hannah Pinza, who is the lady who brought BitLab Network to Africa, is very passionate about is people coming in and seeing how much money you can make in BitLab Network and wanting to quit their jobs. And she says she's very passionate about, you don't do that. What you need to do is get your debt paid up. If you're considering quitting your job, make sure you've paid up your debt, and you can do it quickly. In 6 months, you could do it in BitLab Network if you have the right focus. Save up 6 months' salary, then you know you're covered, right? And she says the minute you are able to make out of BitLab Network in 3 consecutive months, the minimum you are making is your current monthly salary, you are ready to quit your job. So it is on you, and you can quit your job. But you don't need to quit your job at all. If you love your job and you're thinking, I just want to make this extra money, you don't even need to quit your job, but you can still make a business out of BitLab Network. And how much are you going to make out of it? You get your daily earnings through commissions and through your mining. How much you make is really dependent on how much work you put into it. People are making millions because they are putting in what is required. Okay. Now, Thomas Jefferson, which is one of the early presidents in the United States, says if you want something you've never had before, you need to be willing to do something you've never done before. I have never done network marketing before, but because I want to be a millionaire in 5 years, I've been working for 20 years, I'm not there yet, I'm willing to do this, to do something I have never done before. Okay, so what do you actually need to do now to make a lot of money out of BitLab Network? What you need to do, what it means for you, you are actually making money by working with like-minded business partners, and you get paid in Bitcoin. There is a network of people who are making money are willing to help you make money out of Bitcoin. So that on its own is a plus for you, because you are never alone. You don't even need to do anything. You just need to call someone to come into this presentation, and your network of business partners is doing the work for you. So don't stress about, when I'm saying to you, you do something you've never done before. I have never been a presenter like this before. This is what this business has also exposed me to. Because of the business partners that I have partnered with, I am able to now do this today. So you can do that. And the income streams that BitLab Network open up for you, I'm not going to go into too much detail on them. The person who invited you here will take you through each one of them in detail. But just a brief overview of it. There's what is called the level up bonuses, which is the bonus that you get once off when you sign someone up. You can get between 5 to 8%. If someone signs up with a founder pool and you already have more than 9 people, you will get 3,700 rands worth of Bitcoin. You can do that daily if you were working hard enough. When people have chosen an option, which most people do, to repurchase, whatever their repurchase value is, you get 18% of that. That is one type of bonus. You get it in Bitcoin. Remember, we are all about accumulating Bitcoin now, so that in a couple of years, when it is worth a lot, you've got a lot to show. The second one, which is driving everyone crazy, is called the binary bonus. There's 2 of them. There's the team cycle bonus. This you get based on the credits that you earn as people sign up. And this gives you $200 worth of Bitcoin. So as you sign people up, you get credits. Pool 1 is 3 credits. Pool 2 is 6. Pool 3 is 12. If they sign up with the founder pool, you get 21 credits. The person who invited you will help you further to elaborate on how they all work. And you can cycle up to 10 times. So imagine 10 times per day of $200 worth of Bitcoin. That is why people are becoming millionaires out of this business. And you also get a bonus if people that you have signed up and their downlines cycle, you get 10 rands worth of Bitcoin for that as well. But you haven't done any work, but you get Bitcoin as well. The last one, which I don't elaborate on as well, is the residual infinity bonus. And once you also signed up, all this information is available to you to read at your own time in the back office. You'll be given a link to have access to it. Okay, so when we talk about the mining potentials, this is what will drive you crazy and hopefully will get you signed up when you finish here, is that there's ranks in the business. And you don't need to do this part, but remember I said we are not about making 50,000 rands in 5 years. We are about being millionaires in 5 years. So you need to be considering doing this. If you were a miner and you just cycled 4 times every day, you could be making $24,000 worth of Bitcoin every month. Which means when you've gone up to the monster builder level, you could be making 60,000 rands monthly earnings worth of Bitcoin. If you don't cash it out and keep that Bitcoin for the next 5 years, you tell me where you will be in your finances when the value of Bitcoin is even just $100,000. Okay. So if you look at the monthly earnings, we're looking at possibly 348,000. That's a lot of money. It could be 435, it's even more money, or 696, which is insanely more money. You can do it if you put in the effort and the support is there for you to be able to do it. You are essentially, when I said what your paycheck is dependent on you, you are essentially creating your own money-making machine by using the structures that are available for you through BitLab Network. And the difference, what that makes this opportunity unique, is that being in the cryptocurrency space and where Bitcoin is going as a currency. Okay. Now, Tony Gaskin says, if you do not build your dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. A lot of us have been hired to build other people's dreams. Now, my question is, where we are at now, are you in a position where you actually want to build your own dream? Because BitLab Network does allow you to do that. Whatever your dream is, you want financial freedom, you want to travel the world, you want to give back to the community, save up for your kids, start more businesses. We have people who have started multiple businesses out of money that they've made out of BitLab Network. Whatever your dream is 50,000 rands or 55,000 rands or 10,000 rands worth it? Is it worth it for you to start that dream? You need to ask yourself that. Is it worth it to pay 50,000 rands and be able to achieve that dream of spending more time with your family, of starting that business you've been wanting to start, of being financially free? You need to ask yourself that. And wanting something is not enough, according to Les Brown. You must hunger for it. So the question is, how hungry are we for it? I live here thinking, oh, I'm hungry for it, but my actions need to line up to what I'm saying. I want it, but how hungry am I for it? And Robert Kiyosaki further says that he's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you haven't read the book, please go read it. There's also an audio book. If you want a link to the audio, you can also contact me. I will send it to you. Listen to it when you are traveling. It will change your perspective on money and how you make money. And you'll appreciate BitLab Network more after reading this. It says the richest people in the world look for and build networks, and everyone else looks for work. Don't be that one looking for work. Use BitLab Network to be one of the richest people and build networks. You only make money in BitLab Network out of building a network. I'm not sure if you know, people look down on network marketing. I never used to, I said I would never do this. But do you know that network marketing is actually the biggest producer of millionaires in the shortest space of time? So let's appreciate the fact that there's an opportunity to get involved in that, especially in the cryptocurrency space. And so my question then would be, if all it took was 55,000 rands, would it be worth it for you to build this business? Would it be worth it for you to build your dream? If all it took was for you to find 5 people who would find 5 people, would it be worth it for you to look into doing your business and investing in Bitcoin mining, and most importantly, building a business in the cryptocurrency space? Would it be worth it for you? If all it took was for you to pay 55,000 rand, get 5 people and earn at least 35,000 rands per day, would it be worth it for you to join BitLab Network and do this? You need to ask yourself that. The process is really easy if you use your networks, if you put in the dedication and the time. Get 5 people who are hungry for success. They get 5 people who are hungry for success. They get 5 people who are hungry for success. In essence, what are you doing? You are building this monthly income stream. Just encouraging 5 people to get 5 people. I'm using 5 because in BitLab Network, to move ranks, for example, to move from being a builder, a miner into a builder, you need to have 5 people who have also recruited 2 people each. So if we all focus on just bringing 5 people, do you see how we will quickly be moving through the ranks? If I bring 5 people and they all manage to bring 5 people, automatically I'm a builder. If those 5 people bring other 5 people, that's where we're going to be. Very soon I will have 3 builders and I'll be a pro builder. So if we just look for like-minded people who will just invite people to these presentations, who will hear what I'm saying and say, you know what, it's worth it. I'm gonna do this. Just look for those 5 people who are hungry, who have got that dream that is bugging them, who say, I am sick and tired of working on a tight budget and I'm willing to do something about it. If you get those people, that is how you will move through this. I am done with the presentation. So from now on, what you could do is you could do nothing, not do anything at all. You've heard it, done, dusted, okay, just good to hear, I know about Bitcoin, that's it. And life goes on as is. If you had 10,000 rands, you will use that 10,000 rands, don't invest it, next month, same issue, you go on. Or you could actually start today. You could go to the person that invited you today and say, you know what, I'm going for this. I need this. I need to start. I need to see it work. The worst that could happen is that you've got an investment, maybe of 10,000 rands, and in 5 years' time or 3 years' time, you've got 50,000 rands. That's the worst that could happen. The best that could happen is that in those 5 years, you could be debt free if you choose to do the business part of it. So you can start today, or you can choose, you know what, I'm not going to do anything about this. So Les Brown also says, it's really up to you. Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around. If you have been in the business already, you have not done much about it, you have a chance again to try again to make it work. 5 people, get 5 people, get 5 people. So now your question will be, oh, now how do I get started? I want to do this. Go back to the person who invited you. Tell them now, after this session, go back to them and say, I want to do this. How do I start? The first thing you need is get a Bitcoin wallet. Get it today. Start seeing how Bitcoin works. Check its movement up and down. Start reading up on Bitcoin. Look at our videos. They will also send you videos if you wish. If you need them to talk to me about videos that you want, that we've spoken about, talk to them as well. And they will tell you the different wallets that you can use based on what has worked for them, help you set up your Bitcoin wallet. A Bitcoin wallet is what a bank account is to us in our rent world. And it allows you to buy with Bitcoin, send Bitcoin to people, and just to own Bitcoin. So they will put you in touch with a reputable exchange. All these that I'm showing you are exchange companies. An exchange company is what allows you to move from fiat, which is rand, into crypto, which is Bitcoin. And if you wanted to move from crypto into rand again, you go through an exchange. So they will explain all that to you. So that is really it. It was a mouthful, but I hope it was worth your while. I hope that you have gained something out of it. If you've got any questions, I will take questions now.